I'll let it go.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Then, yeah, I'm just walking through today's agenda. Okay. Let me finish this up and you can take it over. I'll read out the commands or somebody can do that. Yeah. The plan is to wind up the basics as soon as possible. Let us not go into the Kubernetes installation, which is time taking also, and every one of us might already have time.
Yeah, I'm already having the cluster setup. Sir.
We
I'm
already
already
have.
having a, yeah, yeah.
That's perfect. We shall directly jump into the other things. So Kubernetes high availability setup. Okay, I think this is important. And pods architecture and some detailed some description about the pods and points. Who created pods, worker node pods, blah blah blah, all that stuff. We'll go through the commands. And YAML, I'm sorry, I have to correct this. It is yet another markup language. Okay, I don't know why it like this. I will correct that. And this is the main part which we all are interested in, right? The last part, POCs, proof of concepts and scenarios. Okay, we'll try to make this POC and scenarios area in all our sessions. We'll try to make this strong and more robust and have a better POC and scenarios listed here. And we shall try this. So this is one scenario what I have listed, and the second one is from Akshay. Where is the second one? How come that's missing? Okay, I have that. I can ping that Akshay's one. I don't know why it is missing here. It used to be there. I read before. Okay. Akshay had shared one scenario, few scenarios.
Yeah. Uh, shall I just paste it in the chat
Yes,
or
please share.
no need?
Yeah, even I have that. Yeah, please paste. Okay, guys, anybody have anything to share here, or shall we jump into the session? I take it as no. Srinath, let us get into the session. Yeah, we can share your screen. Start sharing your screen.
Yeah. I mean, we have to do the POC, right? That one.
Yeah, before we do POC, whatever the other commands we have here, right? We shall quickly go through them. And theory part. Okay, okay. Let me share the screen for a while. Okay, let us complete this theory part. Okay, is anybody interested? Every time I would like to request everybody for volunteers to go through that particular concept. If somebody thinks that they are interested to walk us through it, right? Uh, you're you are honored and you can do that. Okay. Kubernetes architecture. Do we have any volunteers there to walk us through this? You can just read this out. That is also fine.
I can just explain it in brief.
Yeah, sure.
Please correct me if I am wrong anywhere.
No issues at all.
Yeah.
Your place.
So yeah. So Kubernetes architecture basically follows a master-slave kind of architecture. So we have some components in master and some components, Kubernetes components in node. Master components consist of Kube API server, its CD, Kube scheduler, Kube control manager, and this is a cloud native, I guess, Kube cloud manager. And
Right.
so Kube API server is mainly responsible for fulfilling node requests which are sent out by kubelet service from the node. Then HCD component is basically to store the metadata of the entire cluster, which is generally stored in key value format. So mostly stored in JSON or YAML. Then Kube Scheduler is responsible for scheduling your application pods on different nodes based on the capacity and the requirement of the application. So it decides all these parameters prior to scheduling the application pod, on which node to schedule and which node is free, which node has more number of pods, whether to schedule it or not. All these decisions are taken by Kube Scheduler prior to scheduling the pods. Then Kube Control Manager, basically it has again Kube Control Manager consists of different 2 to 3 different components within itself. That altogether consists of Kube known as Kube Control Manager. So one of them is replication controller, which ensures that your desired number of pods are always running within the cluster. So if you have a desired number of application pods as 5, so if 2 of them gets failed, so it ensures that again to cope up with the desired number of desired state of 5 pods, it will again spin up 2 pods just to maintain the desired state. So yeah, and then node components consist of kubelet, kubelet service, kubelet service, and kubelet service can anyone cover? I'm little confused regarding this. Yeah.
Okay, no issues. Yeah, perfect. That's perfect.
It's like agent on the node. It is an agent on the node. It will look up anything whenever any request comes from the master.
Yeah, so API server communicates to Kubelet, and that will take care of any kind of resource alignment on the node.
And sending API request to API server as well, right?
Yeah, it is the only component. Yeah, it is a component which will communicate to API server. That's what I have.
And Kube proxy, can anyone tell me? It is networking component, but which network, like which communication happens via Kube proxy? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Kube
communication
proxy,
between the pods.
Yeah, between the pods within the nodes, right? It takes care of the communication within the pods on the nodes.
So is it like both pod to pod and node to node as well?
Yeah,
node
to pod.
Because we can provide authentication for pods between the nodes, and Kube proxy is the one which will allow to make that happen. That is my understanding. Somebody can challenge that. But that
so
is
node to node communication also possible with the Kube proxy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Between all the nodes.
Within the cluster, it will communicate. Outside the cluster, we have to go for another service.
Okay.
Good.
Perfect. Was that Akshay who demonstrated this architecture?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Akshay. Thanks a lot. That's really nice. Yeah. So let me read out quickly to have more accurate points from what is explained in the video. Kubernetes consists of master and worker nodes. We all know that. Master node manages the worker nodes and the pods in the cluster. We all know that. Master node control plane make global decision about the cluster. For example, scheduling, which is true, as well as detecting and responding to cluster events, while worker node hosts the pods that are the components of the application workload. Yeah, that is also clear, right? So worker node takes care of hosting the pods, and the master node makes the global decisions. Yeah. And the Kubernetes cluster components, it is again explaining the same things in a different way. When you deploy Kubernetes, you get a cluster, of course. Yeah, of course, right? A Kubernetes cluster consists of components that represent the control plane and set of worker machines called nodes that run containerized applications. I'm not clear on this point. Can somebody elaborate this? A Kubernetes cluster consists of components that represents the control plane and set of worker machines. Okay, so yeah, Kubernetes cluster consists of control plane and set of worker machines. Yes, called nodes. They are called as nodes that run containerized applications. Okay, yeah.
Control plane is your master. That means.
Control plane is the master. Yes, control plane is the master. Every cluster has at least one worker node. Of course. Here's a diagram of a Kubernetes cluster with all the components tied together. Here we can see the control plane where we have, I want to zoom this, where we have API server scheduler, etcd, what is that, control manager, all the components of master. So here clearly we can see that control plane is master. And cloud provider API, if there is any cloud, and we have nodes, and nodes have kubelet and kubeproxy. Okay. And on the right side, they have described the symbols: API server, cloud control manager, cloud manager, etcd, kubelet, kubeproxy, scheduler. These are all coming under control plane, and the other things are nodes. And the same thing is diagrammatically shown in the video. Yeah. So which is more clear. kubectl commands communicates with the API server, and API server communicates with the other commands. And API server, there are some few bullet points given here. API server is the principal component of the Kubernetes. In the video, the demonstrator says that it is like a principal in the college. Okay, that is the best or simple example where somebody can understand. Okay, it's like a principal in the college who takes all the decisions, and everybody has to communicate to it to get the things done. Right? API server is the principal component of Kubernetes, and API server is the only component which communicates with every other component. That is true. And scheduler, I don't have any bullet points mentioned here. Yeah. If somebody has any points, right, more points to add, just at the bottom of this page, please. Okay, I did not open comment box for this. I'll initiate the comment box for this. If you can ping, right, I can add that to. I mean, we shall not leave this particular page or document with the older version. Right, we shall keep updating this so that it becomes more valuable. I mean, the schedule, regarding scheduler, we don't have much information, right? I have not mentioned any points. If you find anything, you can just comment it there. We can add it here. etcd, okay. What does etcd stands for? Any idea? Okay. API server is the only component that can reach etcd. Okay. We know that etcd contains the metadata. It is the key value database, right? Now I have added that point of key value database here, but it did not reflect. I did not update it properly. Sorry about that. And control manager, job of control manager is to maintain desired state. Yeah, this is the main point about control manager. If the desired state, for example, in replica sets, I think in the case of replica sets also, right? If the desired state is 3, when one pod gets one pod dies, and it is control manager's responsibility to create another pod. Am I right? Or it has a different purpose? What I understand is that is the purpose of control manager. Any challenges there or any better explanation? Okay, we'll go by my point then. Job of control manager is to maintain desired state. Okay. Kubelet. Okay, kubelet is the main component in the worker nodes, right? Kubelet is the captain of the node. There is a typo here. I'll correct that. Node, it takes the help of Docker to run containers on the nodes. Okay. Okay. Here we get the picture of Docker. At a point, I have read somewhere that Kubernetes is going to get rid of Docker. It is only you going to use the Docker runtime engine. Rest of the other stuff which Docker has, it's going to get rid of that. So, do anybody know about it?
Yeah, they have. There was this in the news, but they haven't mentioned which runtime exactly. By
Right.
default, they will be using.
Yeah, it only needs the runtime engine, it seems. So, rest of the other functionality of Docker, it will get rid of it. So,
So
it's
like
kind of
how OpenShift ditched Docker, and with the new version they are using by default CRI-O.
cryo, right? Hmm. Right. Thanks for that, Akshay. And proxy on node takes care of networking between pods and nodes. Yeah, somebody were asking, right? Is it between nodes as well? Yes. This point says that yes, it is between nodes as well. Q proxy. Um, and control plane. What is control plane is explained here. The control plane manages the worker nodes and the pods in the cluster. Yes, in production environment, the control plane usually runs across multiple computers and a cluster usually runs multiple nodes and providing fault tolerance and high availability. And worker nodes, yeah. Guys, should I really read out this? Because we have this in the document and we already have gone through the video, right? Shall we jump into the practicals? Or do you want to have a round of reading? Yeah, please raise your hands who directly want to get our session jumped into the practicals. It's exactly 7:30 now, so we can. Okay, actually, yes. Let us get into practicals and rest. There is a hand symbol on the top if you are on. Yeah, Ganesh also. Okay. Yep. Let us. Srinath also. Perfect. Let us get into. Okay. If you have not gone through the video, please go through the video. Or if you are running out of time, you can quickly go through our web page. All the information, most of the important points are covered here. Okay. Okay. And I want to understand more about this cloud architecture, Kubernetes architecture in cloud. Okay. So, yeah, let us discuss that later. Okay, Kubernetes installation. As we discussed before, let us not waste our time in installation because we already have done the installation in the past. At least most of us. Let us jump directly into the other commands which we did not run before. I think the main this particular day 3 where they just started with the Kubernetes part. Okay, there are all the commands mostly will be the basic commands which we already have gone through. Okay, sync pods. Okay, let us though they are basic commands, just for the sake of covering uh, all the uh, all the technical as the things covered in the particular video, let us run them. Okay, let us run them. Hey, Srinath, it's over to you. Please share your screen, and I will be helping you with the commands. Perfect. Okay, the first command is to create a pod. Okay, using Nginx image. Let us do that. Here the command is kubectl run space nginx hyphen image is equal to nginx. Yeah. I think name is not required. I think the Nginx, you can give MFH Nginx after run, so that it will take. Yeah, kubectl run space Nginx space hyphen image is equal to Nginx. Hyphen image is equal to Nginx. Yeah. And after run, let us to differentiate between the name and the Nginx. Image is equal to Nginx. And after run, we shall rename that Nginx as MFH Nginx, so that we can differentiate between this name and the image. Yeah, let us run this. Okay, it's created. Okay, it's created under default namespace, right? kubectl is perfect. Okay, so Nginx is running there, and so the same. There is another command to try to run a pod as interactive shell. Okay, meaning it will get into the shell of that particular image for sure. Okay, the command is kubectl run space hyphen I space hyphen tty space tty space busybox mfh busybox. Let us name it as mfh busybox space mfh busybox space hyphen image is equal to busybox space hyphen space sh. Space hyphen at the end hyphen space sh will get into the shell directly. Space sh. No, space sh. Hyphen space sh. Yeah. No. Hyphen should be there, and there should be a space after hyphen. Yeah. Between busybox and sh, there should be hyphen individually. Yeah. Space. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, please run that. Already exists. Okay. It already created that. Okay, cool. So what I expect is it goes to the shell block of that particular image. Zbox. Yeah, it did that. Okay, cool. So yeah, we are done with this. Let's come out of it. Cool. We are in that busybox. And the next thing what we want to try is run pod Nginx in a specific namespace. Okay. We already know that, right? To run pods on a specific namespace. Shall we skip that? Yeah, please raise your hands if anybody wants to run that. Not skip, to anybody wants to run that. For that, we need to create a namespace, and then we need to mention hyphen in that namespace and run the Nginx image. Nobody wants to run. Let us skip to next command. Run pod Nginx and write its spec into your file called pod.yaml. Okay, this is one thing which we want to run. Okay, the command is kubectl. I think you have already said the what is that? Alias for kubelet, right? Okay, as K. kubectl space run runs MFH Nginx 1. Yeah, MFH Nginx 1 because we already ran space hyphen hyphen image is equal to Nginx space hyphen hyphen restart is equal to never. Uh, Please somebody take the uh, explanation about why is that hyphen hyphen restart is equal to never use. I need some volunteers out there. Please raise your hand. Never space hyphen 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 dry hyphen run. I think yeah, it is hyphen hyphen restart. Before restart, there is hyphen hyphen. Yes, and at the end, it is hyphen hyphen dry hyphen run. Yeah, good that you're running these commands so that you remember that. Normally we say dry run, but we don't know where that hyphen is, right? It is after dry there is a hyphen. Is equal to client. And if anybody wants to explain what is that hyphen hyphen restart is equal to never, I need volunteers, please. And if anybody knows what is dry run is equal to client, why we mentioned client there, I need volunteers for that. Please raise your hand. Yeah. Space hyphen O space YAML YAML space greater than symbol pod.yaml space pod.yaml. There is a space. Great. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Please run that. Policy any VER. Okay. There is a type any capital N. I think. Yeah. Capital N. Please provide capital N there.
Yeah, capital.
We only get to know when we run this. Actually, yeah. Perfect. Great. So what happened? Can you cat that pod.yaml? Okay. API version. Okay. It got metadata and run. I think Ganesh, you have ran this, right? Container image Nginx. Perfect.
Yes, sir, I have run.
Perfect. Yes. Did anybody? Do anybody want to explain that? What is hyphen restart is equal to never? From what I understand, it never restarts. Okay, by itself. Okay, and what is that dry hyphen run is equal to client? I don't know what other options we have for dry run, but mostly what I've seen is equal to client. If nobody knows why we use that client there, it is an action item for us to know it.
So basically, it won't schedule the pod. It will just do a trial run of the output and create a YAML file for that same. After how the pod will be scheduled, how that YAML file will look like, it will just show you the uh, show you in a like
Okay, in the YAML format, right?
yeah
Perfect.
YAML format.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm not sure if there are any other options other than a client.
Server also was there, I think. Dry run equal to,
Server.
yeah.
Okay.
Can we try that and see what is the difference between that and this? Is equal to server. Uh, yeah. Yeah, when they mention specifically is equal to client, I was doubting that there could be other options as well. Okay. And after this, we shall try to use this YAML file for the deployment. Okay, that is also created. We'll see what is the difference between server and this one. Okay, this got more details. Oh man, it's very interesting. Oh man.
This is quite new for me.
Cool. So see, the purpose of having this practical session is solving. Yeah. Cool. Lot of options, man. Volume mount, okay. Everything. I think most of the uh, function components are covered in this YAML file. Tolerations, and it came up with default values. Okay, status. Wonderful, wonderful. Very nice to see that. Okay, shall we deploy? Okay, shall we deploy the first YAML file, just pod.yaml, and also we'll deploy this one and see the difference in the pods. Shall we do that, Sinak? There is pod.yaml, right? What we shall do is we shall run the command kubectl create -f or apply -f, anything is fine. Kubectl space create apply space -f pod.yaml. Should we give any name for that? Not required, right? Everything is in the YAML file. Yeah, created. Let us check the pod. Cube. I think you can use just K. Create container configuration error. That is for different one, right? But the pod you just created with the name MFH Nginx 1, is that one? That is 20 seconds before it was created. Yeah, that's the one. Cool. Okay, and yeah, we shall describe this pod after creating the other pod. Pod 12.yaml. We'll also deploy that, and we'll describe both of them and see what is the difference. There should be a lot of differences in terms of the parameters for sure. You want to describe this first? Okay. I think you have to give that describe completely because it's not a component, right? Yeah. Describe. Perfect. So, okay. Let us keep this like this. We'll deploy the other pod also, and we'll compare this deployment and other deployment. If you can open another terminal, right? We can compare side by side. If somebody want to try something different, right? Please share so that we can try those also.
I just had a doubt. If anyone knows that you were telling about that -f restart never. So if there is issue in the pod, so it will directly go into error state, and
it don't try to restart. Yes,
yeah,
don't restart.
and if there is a what do you say, replicas mentioned in the deployment, like if that's a deployment, and if mentioned replicas mentioned are 5, and if that one pod, let's say, goes in error state, like in error state, and it has restarted never flag. So will replication controller try to again run that pod or not? Because that high functionality restart equal to never flag is set.
Okay, that's very interesting point. The what I from what I understand is restart. It will not restart the same pod, but still when the replica sets are defined, right? It will create a new pod instead of restarting the existing one. Normally, sometimes we see the pod restarting, right? So instead of restart, it will create a new pod. That we can try by using the same YAML and creating replica sets in that. We shall give some 2 or 3 replicas and how will, can we kill one pod? If we let us say if we give 3 replicas and 3 pods are running there, and can we try killing one pod? I think so. We can do that. Yeah, we shall try that. For sure, new pods will be created if there is replica.
Yeah, actually, for a restart policy, we'll be having 3 options. Restart policy always, on failure, never. And when we say that a restart policy, that will apply to all the containers, which are in the pod.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that one only.
And
When the containers, suppose if the containers which are in the pod will exit, again they will. If anything happens, if it is killed, again it will be. It will. What to say? It will be created.
New pod will be created, right? Even I
will
think
be restarted. No, we should not say created. It will be restarted, I hope. Okay. It will be restarted. It will not be created. Suppose we have given restart policy always. Suppose if anything happens to container in a pod, it will be restarted with some gap of 10 seconds, 20 seconds. If we give never, it will not create. It will not restart. It's not creating.
But if the replica sets are 3, right? Let us say, and the restart policy is set to never. That was the question, right? If then what happens?
We have to check that.
We will try that. That's a very good scenario to try. Yeah. We'll also list out that scenario. I'll type it here, or somebody can help to type here. Okay. So, did we have a new terminal, Srinath?
Yeah. No. Actually, I'm running this on the Vagrant.
Okay. So you are running this in the background. Okay. There are 2. Okay.
I'm running in the Vagrant. I'll check whether it will run or not. I'll check. Documents. Yeah. Yeah, we'll check whether it will work or not. Actually, it's open. One thing.
Okay.
Yeah, both are working, I hope. Yeah.
So let us put them beside each other and run the other pod, other YAML file, pod 12.yaml file. Deploy that, and we'll describe that also and see the difference.
Yeah.
And at the end of the session, right? Last time I thought of asking you share the history of the commands.
Yeah, I'm having that, but I thought if people didn't ask, I didn't share that. I hope.
Because there are few interesting commands which are new to me as well. Okay.
Yeah. Those are dangling, checking the dangling images, right? That is very interesting one.
Yeah, please share that and today's one also. Maybe I'll forget.
My first change next one, right? What I did. Back history.
I have pinged the scenario 3 in the chat. Correct that sentence if it is wrong. Yeah.
Just somebody told how to run this because what to do, we have you suppose dollar, right? Dollar and 33 number, right?
No, Srinath. Exclamation mark.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
33. Yeah, here it is the difference.
Oh, I didn't knew this. Wow. So it runs that particular history.
I guess your voice is breaking, Srikant.
Oh, I was asking. I didn't knew that exclamatory mark and the history number.
Okay, yeah.
In the V-editor, we'll be having SE, right? SE and set numbering. Here we'll be having exclamatory mark. Yeah, you asked me to keep these two aside, right? When I run this for MFH Nginx 12, and this is normal schedule, both are same. Normal pulling, normal pulling.
Events will be same. Can you scroll up and see the differences? See the tolerations. You see, tolerations must be different because when we mentioned server, it has toleration set to 300. Exists for 300 seconds, and in the first one there is no tolerations.
Okay, you mean to say you asked me like this just a moment.
Yeah. From the start, if we check, there should be many differences.
Where is this history? I have to run this dry run, right? Where is this dry run? I have to run this, right? You're asking me to run this one. No. This one only. Client and server, right?
Yeah.
Here it is client, here it is server, right? I'll run for both. Yeah, exclamation 23 and 25. Okay. Oh. Where is this? This is not working. Hello?
Yeah. Just up arrow.
Oh, I have to do cat, right? Sorry. I have to do cat.
Yeah, you already have created that YAML file, right?
Yeah. I have already created.
It got override.
Yeah, no problem.
Port 12. Do you want to cat port 12?
Here.
Yeah, for sure there are a lot of differences.
There are a lot of differences. Here API version here see, and kind pod. Okay, and metadata. Here we'll be having timestamp for server, but here for this client null it is. Labels. And here directly we'll be having just like a normal YAML file spec. But here we'll be having extra fields, manage fields, API version, field section, and all these will be having extra in the when we run a server, when we give server as a option. See here in the spec, we'll be having spec same image, restart image policy. Image pull policy will be having here. Here we don't have any image pull policy. And coming to restart policy, it is never. It is also never here same. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be never because when we ran the dry run for both we gave never, right? Restart policy never.
Yeah. And for this we'll be having value mounts. For this there is no value mounts.
Correct.
So what's the default value for hyphen restart by default? It is always or never by default?
By default it is always.
Okay, and it seems that the server and the client difference is like what I understood is whenever you run a pod, whenever that pod is in the running state, if we pull out the YAML file, so how that YAML file comes out in when the pod is in running state, same the server tyrant equal to server gives out, and then and if you run at like a client, it only gives the necessary parameters required to run the pod, like basic parameters.
Sorry, we didn't get you. Sorry.
So I was saying that if we use hyphen dry run equal to server, what I understood is it will give the YAML output exactly like when the pod is running and we try to pull out a YAML out of a running pod, how that YAML file will be created with timestamps and all. The hyphen dry run equal to server gives the output YAML file exactly in the same state, and that hyphen dry run equal to client, what is does it? It gives it adds the minimum parameters required to run the pod.
Yes, exactly. In this, we'll be having value mounts. In this, when we run with the server option, we'll be having value mounts option. Here we don't have anything, and here we'll be having the security context. But here we don't have anything. Here we are having correlations. Only whatever things which are needed, mainly those are there.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Could you tell me next command?
Yeah. So next thing, okay, to exactly see what is the difference, I'm not sure if we already have checked the difference between by describing both of them side by side. When we, what I think is, though that both are same. Huh?
Yeah, both are same.
No, we did not go through from the start of the description. They will not be same.
This is description for pod, and this is for 3033, right?
Yeah, 35 is for Nginx 12, and 31 is for Nginx 1, 35 is for Nginx 12.
31, 35, sorry.
31 and 35. Yeah, on one terminal you can run 31. Yeah, and can you scroll up to very top, and we'll just scroll down from there to see the differences.
Is it 35 only? 31 and 35, right? Here I run.
Yeah. I think
Just
the difference 35, I'm sure about that.
Yeah, but it is giving error. Why?
The different terminal have different history or what? I think different terminal will have different history, right? Can you run the history on? When you run the history?
Yeah, you are right. You are right.
Different will have different history. Can you copy paste the command and run on the other terminal for 35?
That's a good idea.
Yep. You run in the other terminal. Here you have for Nginx 1, right? Let us not disturb that. Yeah. The first terminal. Yeah.
See here. Type reason age from normal schedule 15 minute seconds, normal schedule, default scheduler. And here
Srinath, let us come from top. Top in the sense after the command runs, whatever the message started, right? From there will come. From the
okay.
And can you scroll up? Can you scroll up? What I mean was, from here will come.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. You scroll this one also to the same point.
Yeah. For this, this is for server, right? So you'll be having extra options, right? For it, for this server option, they have given a node on which node it is running, start time, and IP address, containers, image port, host port, and the environment. Yeah, it is giving everything extra values. Yeah.
Containers, and I'm more interested to look at the parameters. There are few extra parameters set for the drive run is equal to server. And here, shall we scroll from the top and see what is the difference?
I'll keep this aside. Both.
Yeah, please. Okay, both got the IP address. Okay, everything is same till there. I can scroll down. Perfect. Status, okay, both are same. And you see, this also have volumes. Where is that volume part?
Here, above it is gone. Here it is. Volume mounting.
It got a volume mount, and what about this? It also got.
Here also, yeah.
So what I thought was, though in the YAML file, those values are not there in the YAML file, it still picks all the default one. So both should be same. Okay.
Yeah, because it will describe completely, right? So there for that, when you are checking using cat, they will give only the options, the results, whatever is needed. But when you are describing, it will describe the complete. So it is both will be same. Yeah.
Both will have the same values. But the advantage with server, what I see is, we will be having complete YAML file, and we have the option to change few parameters if at all we want to change. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, many times we don't know if at all we want to set some change some parameter. Let us say tolerance, right? We in the YAML file which we got with the client, dry run is equal to client. We don't know what entries we have to make in that YAML file, right? We have to search in Google or Stack Overflow to find the syntax, right? Whereas with the dry run is equal to server, we have the syntax there. We just need to change from if it is 300 there, exists after 300, we can change it to 400, 500, whatever the value you want. Like that, there are many other parameters which we have the YAML syntax already there. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we pretty much understood the difference. We got a detailed YAML file with server, right? Perfect. Let us jump into the third scenario where we wanted to try. What we wanted to try is we want to set the reset policy as never, and we wanted to deploy it as a replication set. Okay. Can anybody help with the command for doing that? I mean, in the YAML file, I think we need to mention that replica sets, right?
Yeah, just create a.
Shall we check that server YAML file and see if it got replica set syntax in it or not? Can you add that?
We need a deployment file for replicas, right? I guess pod has no option. or maybe it might have. Just check.
Sorry. I
Sorry, what was that we were trying? What is that app3.yaml?
Yeah, this is actually in the morning. I created this. I'm really sorry for that. This is for that POC. I didn't close that. Now I close that previous one.
Okay. Can you add that? Somebody were trying to give some clue.
Now you are
Sorry?
asking me. Suppose if you have this one, when we create a replication control, what will happen? You are asking, right?
Sorry.
For
Sorry,
this pod, for this pod, if you create replication controller, what will happen? This is your question, right?
No, we wanted to create a pod with the replica sets as 3. Okay. And we'll set up the restart policy as never. Okay. In this YAML file, we don't have that replica set. What should I say? That syntax, YAML syntax in this, right? In the other pod, cat pod 12, in pod 12, for sure, we must be having that replica set thing also. Shall we check that? Because it got a lot of parameters in syntaxes in that. I'm assuming that it might have that. Can you look for that grep or grep for the replica, something like that?
So that option is replicas. Most my guess is that that option is available only for deployment YAML file, because
Yeah.
whenever deployment is like scheduled, uh, replica replica set ensures that the deploy from the deployment that number of pods are desired pods are created.
You're right. You're right.
Yes. So we need a deployment file, YAML file, to schedule those pods.
Okay. Okay. Then let us grab a YAML file. I have plenty of YAML files with me. If somebody can share, I will not look at it.
Just do one. We can also do one thing. Do what is that command?
Can we give that in the ad hoc command as well, replica sets?
Yeah, I'm just trying to recall the command.
Let us see.
Yeah. Just try once, Srinath. This command kubectl deploy http space hyphen image equal to httpd space again.
You're saying, yeah.
Equal to ht double t pd.
Yeah.
Not sure if this command works or not. Yeah,
This is for
okay. So kubectl run http hyphen image equal to httpd or nginx, take anyone. Okay. Yeah. Hyphen replicas equal to, yeah, and then again add another argument as like that hyphen restart argument,
Restart policy.
which you have to check. Restart policy, yeah.
restart equal never, right?
Yes, never. Is this what you want, Srikanth?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Now
replicas
check.
has been replicated and has no effect will be removed at all.
Yeah.
In
So
here they
now
are saying that
kubectl
is
get
replicated.
pods.
When you check the pods, how many HTTPD pods got created? HTTPD only one, right? No, it did not took that replicas.
It will take time.
Yeah, it will take time.
Oh, is it?
So my guess is in this case, though we have mentioned the replicas, but these replicas are not managed by any replica set or replication controller. So if we delete any of them, I don't think it will create one again, because this if let's say you just do kubectl get rs.
Yeah.
So that spelling is wrong.
Oh,
Just give K. I think.
yeah.
See, so there is no replica set created. That
We
will
have to
get
create
checked.
a replica set, right? Likewise,
So
we'll apply -f. We have to do that, right?
no, a replica set. Then you will have to write another YAML file and mention their kind as replica set. We'll need a different YAML file for replica set then.
Okay.
But I'm not getting this one thing. Why it isn't creating replicas?
Okay. Okay, that is deprecated. That's what it says, right? Let us put that replicas in the YAML file itself and run that YAML file. I just pasted the syntax for replica to create the replicas in the chat. Let us put that in the YAML file. I had pasted an example there where the replicas is equal to 1. We'll make it 3 and add that to the pod.yaml. Yeah.
I'll check from my end.
Maybe if we have what is that, text pad plus
Spec replicas.
yeah, app name maybe we need to correct. MFH engine is 1, I think. We'll have to correct the app name. It is not Sonar requirement.
Yeah, shall I copy this total? No, it will give error.
Before copying, just change the app name.
Yeah,
Or
what
you
is
can
this?
change, yeah,
App
make it
name.
MFH Nginx 1.
We have to do both, right? Run and okay. MFH Nginx. Okay.
Just copy the same at the bottom also. Yeah, just copy paste this. Before it should be copied before or after containers. Make it before containers.
Or after in the containers, right? We have to do.
Yeah, before containers. Before containers, let us paste all that stuff. Yeah. There are 2 specs there, right?
Yeah, I have removed one.
Yeah. Go above a spec. Yeah. No, not there. This is a different spec. This is for container. Just leave that part exactly the same as before. Yeah. Yeah. Paste it everything above that spec column. There will be 2 specs now. Yeah.
Having only one spec.
Now
Yeah,
we'll paste the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't copy spec. Shall I copy that one also? No need, right?
Spec also, everything. Yeah. Copy
No,
spec.
we'll be having only one spec.
Is it? I am referring to a YAML file. What I have for Spring Boot using Docker image, it got 2 specs. Yeah, we shall quickly try something and one thing out of 2 and quickly fail and try the other one.
Sorry.
Yeah, try one thing with spec or without spec. If we fail, we'll try the alternative, the other option. Fail fast and fix. That's the thing, Panda. I think there is syntax indentation issue. I see some gaps there. Just tap.
Tab is not. Yeah. Line number 7.
It's not fine. Yeah, indentation issue is there because I see some spaces in the YAML file. Let us paste this in this particular web page. What I will be giving you to check the indentation. YAML lint. Yeah. Let us paste there and check. We still have 40 more minutes to complete the scenarios.
What we are trying now, that same replicas, no?
Yeah, we have mentioned the replicas in the YAML file now.
And kind is deployment, right?
YAML, yeah. Kind is deploy. Yeah, kind has to be changed to deployment. Yes. Yeah, please change the kind to deployment. That's a good point. Capital D. Yeah, so try to move that line. Which line it's saying? At line 1, column 1. Line column.
Yeah, it's now on. Run specs, selectors. Now we'll see.
Yeah, now I got it. Are you done with the YAML file?
Yeah.
I have one command because
The same it is giving. I already that's 7 number 1. 7.
just yes, yeah, Srinath, shall I tell you? Hello, Srinath.
Yeah.
Do one thing. I've got an easier one.
Please tell me.
Yeah. So type in command. Actually, I was giving you the wrong command. So command is kubectl. Which image you wish to run? Nginx or HTTP?
kubectl.
Create deployment Which image you want to run?
What.yaml?
No. Not that. We'll create a new YAML. Just correct the spelling of deployment. For instance, we'll take Nginx image. Now
Yeah.
mention Nginx space hyphen image equal to Nginx. Yeah, space -o space YAML redirection sign deploy.yaml. Yeah. So now open deploy.yaml and just change the replicas section and the restart policy. Just only two fields. Vi deployment.yaml. Deploy.yaml. Yeah. Do forward slash click like type escape. No, type escape. Yeah. Now type forward slash. Yeah. Mention here replicas.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Mention the full name replicas and press enter. Just scroll down. There is another again one field like replicas return. Go down. Yeah, here, correct. Here, replicas. See. Now just change that above. Yeah, you want three. Okay. And what you need to change again? Yeah, restart policy. So here it is always and change to never now here. Capital N. Yeah, correct. Just save it. Yeah. And now kubectl apply deploy.yaml. Now it will create your deployment as well as replica set. Both. Okay. Kubectl create -f.
Oh.
Cannot fulfill deployments in the test version. Okay. What I will do is I'll edit that YAML file at my end and provide you. Just a
Okay.
minute. Till then, you can try any other thing. So that excess garbage we need to remove, I guess. Okay. data object in spec.selector.match labels. Take nil.
Srinath, I just pinged you a YAML file. Can you create that YAML file and deploy that? You see, it is a simple YAML file.
Yeah, better way we copy it from documentation.
Yeah, you can once copy in that indent to check the indentation on the online. YAML in, yeah, just copy paste. Cool. I think there are few more things which need to be copied. There are few more things to be copied after template, right? Replicas 3, selector. I don't know why many are missing. Can you copy completely? Yeah. It converted, right? It changed it to something. It removed few and it's not showing all the lines now. It pasted everything, but it removed, for some reason, it removed all the containers and all got removed. Strange. Directly copy paste into the YAML file on the server. That's perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, just save it. Kubectl space create. Is it deploy.yaml? No, you forgot which file, right? Just go to history up arrow and see which one you edited. Up arrow, up arrow. What is the file name? I think you are speaking on mute.
Yeah, I'm speaking on mute. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, this is deployment file. Now we have to apply.
Yeah, apply it. Which file is this? What is the file name?
YAML.
Yeah, YAML file. What is the file name? Pod.yaml, right? Okay, kubectl.
Yeah.
Apply is pod.yaml. Tab.
Apply -f pod.yaml. Okay.
Yeah, always tab is okay. Unknown field BB. Okay.
Unknown field replicas.
Indentation issue is there, I think.
Sorry.
Indentation issue that we need to give space.
What is a BB? Even I don't understand from my YAML.
Yeah, we will do directly.
Yeah, you need to edit that file again. This,
Actually, BB is the image name.
See, this is there, right? We will take this one. Why to worry?
Yeah, but this is an replication controller image. Sorry, deployment file. We need a YAML file. We need a deployment YAML file.
We need a deployment YAML file. Yes.
Deployment YAML, right? You.
I have many deployment YAML files. Let me pick one more.
I have one, but I'm not sure where exactly we need to place that restart policy, because if I'm placing it under template.spec, it is giving me error.
Yeah, let us search on Git also.
Yeah, we have one deployment here. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it now because it is the prescribed one, authorized one, right? Kubernetes.
Okay, cool.
Deploy.